A nigga get into some money in his bitch bag. Jumping out the roast truck with the temp tag. I'm getting money, I don't get mad. Ask a nigga in my hood, he gon' say that I'm scared. And when those situations came, I came out like a champ. When it was pouring down raining, I came out of a dip. But now it's champagne showers when we poppin' the champ. We done all our fans in they tracks.
Yup.
Niggas can't be us cause they rats.
As always, just vibe with us. Gonna get right to it shortly. LYP.
Don't chase hoes cause they come with the shutter. I see my man girl start acting bougie when he fuck up his shutter. Before you knew it, niggas was fucking her better. I knew about it and I wanted to tell him I felt funny as ever. But when I told him, he went running to tell her. Damn. Remember I was down bad, I'm talking under the cellar. None of Rolls Royces come with umbrellas. For the rain and all the pain that we've been through. If you don't feed your wolves, they gon' put you on the menu. That's why I be with family and some boys that I've been new. If money determine loyalty, we cut you with against you. And I'll go against you, facts.
My bad.
Rule number one, never count your homie pockets thinking you deserve it. Rule number two, never trust a bitch that'll fuck you for some purses. Rule number three, say you sell that money shit, you better stop splurging. Cause when it's all said and done, and you back at the bottom, they gon' treat you like you worthless. Respect the game, fuck the fame. We millionaires, fuck you watching Lil
Be
Chain.
sleeping on Meek sometimes, man. I ain't gonna lie. Meek necessary for real. Meek necessary for real.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I feel like he necessary.
100%.
Meek speak to, you know, a certain group of people, man.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
He be, you know, he got a pretty good skill set too.
Yeah.
On the rap side, I ain't gonna
He's
lie.
a high level rapper, man. People be trying to get it twisted because some of the goofy stuff, the internet stuff.
Yeah.
But like, Meek, man,
solid.
Yeah.
He tells stories and everything.
Yeah, and he got a high level skill, and he been around for a minute now. Like he done kind of stood the test of time, man.
No,
he one of them ones.
Yeah, he is.
But this guy right here, this my favorite right here. This my favorite right here. Currently, this right here is called Jermaine's Graduation. New Benny the Butcher.
Oh, okay.
Everybody can't go.
You like Benny, man?
Yeah, Benny nice, man.
Benny nice.
Benny nice.
Yeah. I ain't check his new album out.
No, his new album hard.
I had to check it.
Just vibe with us.
The story behind that name when they call me the Pyrex Man. Like them 2 bricks from Doug and Poppies from Kazakhstan.
Okay.
I never sold meth, but I know fat 1,000 yens. You will DN off this shit if you bag it, don't wash your hands. Me, teary-eyed and gullible, I lived it. With a mother who struggled through addiction. I know every side to drug abuse. For life got this comfortable. It's been a few niggas who still in they same position because I bond indestructible. It go both ways. Auntie spent the 30 on that rock, and the nigga who served her, or a plug who thirsty for that knot. The dealer who fronted that birdie, he murdered for that guap, that was me. But now I'm currently trading currency for stocks. I'm Wall Street butching. I'm getting 30% off top. 40% get chopped, other 30 back in the pot. Ask these rappers, shit I did for upstate just help make them hot. When I invite them to the lab, they be scared to play what they got. I'm the Don of our Dons. YSL and Bond number 9, living proof. Sign of the times that hate won't bother your grind. I feel like West on Gustavo, the cocky, confident side. You look a killer in their face cause they say that eyes still don't lie. I'm hearing rumors start to fly that we split the triangle now. And he talks to that's maniacal, but y'all buy it though, why? I'm still that same hustler, fresh out the peas that signed on the spots. I guess I stepped on a few rappers on my climb to the top. Who sliding, invited or not, the violence won't stop. We on that same time and them irons go cocked and them sliding doors pop. My niggas catch you at that light, then light up your drop. It's like that. The last op we racked, we united the block. Long roads to success. They hearts broke when I step. They reminiscing of me, speaking in Morse code to connect. Me and my homies, passport bros, pilots load up the jets. Gulf streams landing in time zones no one expects. Chipping on jet fuel, the flight I slept through. I just need a shot of tequila and Bluetooth I can connect to. It's disrespectful to sit these niggas next to Butch, so I'm shitting around these pussies just like an all-gender restroom. Trips to Bahamas, y'all talking shit from the comments. I'm somewhere off the coast smoking cartridges with my mama. It's Butch.
Just vibe with us, we almost there.
7-year run, 3 away from that 10 that I promised y'all on one-way flight. Brick raw and Monday night. I always been a bigger fish, y'all skinny pimps like Money Mike. Still no license, running lights. I let you pick the gun and knife. Shay said this, no one is nice, and that nigga was fucking right. So fuck you twice, Butch.
Another round of applause, man. Welcome everybody to another wonderful episode of the Leah Purpose Podcast. I'm your host, John Morgan Jr., man. It feels wonderful to be here, 2024. Happy New Year again. Y'all, we about to roll into the month of February, Black History Month, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Our short month, but we gonna ride with it no matter what. It feels good again, man, to be here. I've been saying this lately. It's really the motto for the pod, man. All 2024, man. I want to speak to the people that I want to speak to. That is no shade to the people who have been on the pod, man. Everybody who has came on. I appreciate y'all, for helping kind of, making this pod what it has become. But the fact of the matter is that, listen, in order to grow this thing, it has to always reflect authenticity from my point of view first, right? You know what I'm saying? And in order to do that, man, it's important to talk to like-minded individuals and people that, the masses may not know, but, people that I have genuine relationships with, man, that I feel can give a lot of value and a lot of game and a lot of gems from their story that ultimately can help people. You feel me? That's what LYP is all about, man. It's to provide experiences and wisdom through our own stories, to be able to help folks. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're here to do. So without further ado, man, I wanna introduce this guy that I got to me on my right, man. Anthony Isom, man. I met this guy, man. Shit, man. It's been almost damn near 10 years ago at this point, close to 10. We worked together at the Boys and Girls Club for a little bit of time, and you know how it is, man. You know how it is when you meet people at work. And y'all can y'all can have healthy debates and / arguments of like a variety of different topics, and like it can go either way, but at the same time, you know what, I like this person. Like, you feel me? Like, when you meet somebody at work, that you feel me, that you could tell that, like, all right, I can stay in contact with this person and rock with this person outside of work. And then you able to just kind of build relationships, man, and build bonds with people, man. And it's just been kind of dope to rock with my guy here, man, for the last few years, man, and just kind of see not only our relationship continue to grow, but see individually us evolve in the process too. So without further ado, man, my guy, man, thank you for coming on, man. What's up with you?
I'm chilling, man. I appreciate it, man.
Let me give my dude a round of applause. You know what I'm saying? Let me give him a round of applause. You feel me? Yeah. All of that.
Honor, man.
Yeah, man. So this is technically, I always like to communicate the audio experiences of it, like the technical difficulties of it. This is our second time recording. We had some technical difficulties the last time, but I'm a firm believer of things being in divine order. So this one is supposed to be the way it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? So thanks for coming back, man. Being flexible with your time, man. I'm looking forward to chopping it up with you.
I'm excited, man.
Yeah. How are you? Like, you know what I'm saying? How are you spiritually? How are you mentally? How are you today? Like, where are you right now? Just tell me how you are. Check in. Like, let's check in. Like, tell me how are you today? Genuinely.
Okay.
What's that mean? What's okay?
That, I'm okay, man. I ain't too good. I ain't too bad. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm going through like a transition in life right now. So, as always, change can, most of the time be difficult. So, I'm transitioning. It's not a bad one. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning, I'm growing. I'm taking some licks, but at the same time, like, becoming better from them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't technically consider that. I mean, I feel like in life, you go through situations and you go through stuff. Mm-hmm. And, it grows you. It helps you. So I wouldn't say that I'm in a bad place, but I wouldn't necessarily say I'm in a great space right now neither. Right. So it's kind of, a balance of, success and challenges these days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You care to elaborate on what the transition is? You don't have to.
No, I mean, we here, man. We doing it. I mean, just, relationships, man. Relationship situations, as far as like career stuff, realizing that you called to do more and do different things. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, for sure.
In that space, it's trying to find a way to transition is one animal, but actually like dealing with the transition and the uncomfortable nature of the switch in the process is another one as well.
Yeah.
But not even just that, entrepreneurship, man. You know what I'm saying? And I know we had conversations about this type of stuff all the time.
Yeah.
It's like just the battle with that, the challenges that come with that, and then relationships, women.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Transitioning. And, that's always interesting for a man.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
How
does the evolution of the relationships, like, tell me about the similarities that you experience on both sides, right? So the relationship side of it and the entrepreneurship side, like, they both ongoing, they both come with ups and downs. Like, tell me the similarities that you see in both of them.
Man, because look, it's definitely similar.
No, facts.
You know what I'm saying? The first thing that comes to my mind is like, when you stop watering things, they stop growing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like, I guess from a relationship standpoint, if you don't water something or, you don't continue to put your best foot forward or take action to kind of better the situation or improve and just keep it fresh. You know what I'm saying? Things can go still. But I think with entrepreneurship is the same way, because there's always something new happening in, different markets. And, you know what I'm saying? Just like the landscape of entrepreneurship in general is always something new happening as far as, especially like with social media, just like the algorithms and like how important and how necessary social media is for like a lot of businesses now as far as marketing is concerned. You know what I mean? Just kind of keeping up with that type of stuff. And I just think, man, that, with business, if you not focusing and you not grinding and you not like giving it your all and like going hard with it, like, and which I mean, it may sound cliche, but that's anything in life. Like things start to stagnate a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And you may plateau or you might not improve. And I think, it's the same way with relationships, but I think the thing about being a grown-up is finding time for stuff a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? So in my case, I feel like I do a lot. Mm-hmm. So I got to pick and choose how I spend my time, whether that be my main job, my entrepreneurial efforts, doing, work on my company or companies, marketing strategies and different things like that. If you got a lady in your life, finding time to spend time with her, finding time for yourself, you know what I'm saying? So for me, the transition is finding the best way and learning myself to know like what the best way is to kind of balance all of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I haven't been doing that well the last year or 2 years, which kind of caused me with finding a balance, which kind of caused me some turmoil in different areas, you know what I'm saying, at different times. It was some good times, but I feel like I had, some difficult times as well. But that all stems from not having a good balance with certain things. And, I'm currently in a transitional space where I'm trying to figure out, which I think I pretty much figured it out at this point, and I'm on And I'm almost on the other side of it. I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel and I'm getting close to it. So, I'm figuring that out. I'm doing life just like everybody else, man. Honest about it.
What do you feel like what do you feel like you have become a little bit more clear on? Like what part did you get more clarity after kind of going through it now that you were a little bit more clear on now?
What's good for me and what's bad for me. You know what I'm saying?
Being able to separate the two.
Separate things.
Yeah.
Having boundaries.
Yeah.
You know
That's the word.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't believe in it.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say a lot of people. I think more people are believing in those types of things and how understand how necessary they are. But I think that that was a goal of mine, and it is a goal of mine for 2024 is to set more boundaries for myself so that when you do set boundaries for certain things. Not even necessarily just people, just boundaries in your life for yourself. You know what I'm saying? As it pertains to certain things, in different areas of my life, I think that that's gonna help me a lot, and it has. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Within the last, I'll say maybe 2 months.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. I feel you 100. I feel you 100%. Like that's something that I like. I constantly find myself in some type of internal turmoil with like the balance, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like the figuring out the best way to spend my time. How do I spend my time from a quality standpoint so I can like maximize my time the most efficient way, right? Like how am I spending that the best way? But where I think the part that causes me a lot of inner turmoil is that, sometimes it's so easy to get caught up in the idea of what you think spending quality time looks like, right? So like for me, like I be thinking that like, all right, as an entrepreneur, as a creative, as a as a business person, as a creative, I be thinking that I gotta go so hard and like, okay, let me spend time on work. Like, how do I spend time on thinking of like, how do I create different forms of content? How do I figure out different ways to find engaging content that's true? How do I find different ways to create opportunities for myself to like leverage relationships to get more business opportunities, more business partnerships and things like that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm always thinking about the work shit, like, right? I'm always like, my mind is always wrapped around the work shit.
It never stops.
I'm always thinking about how do I increase my income? How do I increase, the money? Like, which makes a lot of sense, right? Because that's business, that's a big form of business. Like, what I'm saying? It's finding out different creative ways to get the money. But the turmoil part of it comes in is that like, so going back to use the phrase that you said about like watering something, right? Mm-hmm. That's not the part that I always need to water, right? Like I need to like water me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I find out that like when I take care of me and I water me and I spend time with me, and like, even if I'm reading something, if I'm just taking a little bit of time off the internet, if I'm meditating, if I'm going to therapy, I'm forcing myself to have those vulnerable conversations, with my lady that like, in my mind, I'm like, man, I don't even want to tell her. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm a bird. And I don't want to feel like I'm going to complain. But when I work through that and I force myself to be vulnerable and I'm speaking the truth of what I'm experiencing, I notice that not only do I feel better, but I notice that it helps me in my business side too, right? Because it unlocks the blocks of like, all right, how do I do those things that I named earlier? Like it allows me to feel less pressure. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's like a lot of times, man, as dudes, man, we get caught up in the idea of what we think that stuff is supposed to be.
I agree. And I think that's something that I haven't been the best at ever in life.
Right.
Like I've never been good at like watering me. Mm-hmm. And I think that
it's new for me too, bro.
Yeah.
It may have sounded good how I said it, but this is a completely new walk of life.
And it's like wild to like think about it because you really got to get used to like watering yourself and like prioritizing yourself in certain situations and in situations in certain ways. And it's like you would think that it would be easy to do something like that, but it's kind of uncomfortable because it's you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I mean, but. That's something that I definitely need to work on, and I've been working on over the course of the last month, and I found that really like sitting down and cause I'm a whiteboard dude. Like I like to write stuff down and like see it every day. And that helps me. You know what I'm saying? So I got like whiteboard at the crib. I got one in my office at work, and I jot and I keep stuff, or even just like a little notepad.
Right.
Write stuff on that. Look at it every day. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of, to stay tapped in with the goals, and you know what I'm saying, make sure I remind myself to do certain things, man. But I think that's been helpful. But it's interesting to hear you say that, man, because it's so important to do those things, and it definitely makes you feel good, and it's also good to be able to talk about that type of stuff too.
Dog, like it's and for me, like, you know what I'm saying, like I want to give a little bit of context too after I say this. Like for me, I still consider myself to be a new entrepreneur, right? 100%. Like it's still a new framework of life for me to, like, you know what I'm saying, understand and, like, adjust to. Like,
100%.
you know what I'm saying? I'm still learning that this is my life, right? You know what I'm saying? I never, like, as a young person, I didn't have the aspirations all the time of, like, being my own boss and, like, figuring out how to be creative in a way, you know what I'm saying, that I can make money. That was never, that I didn't even view myself that way. I didn't even view myself as a creative person like that. My ideas of what I thought that was washed and it was twisted, right?
Yeah.
So, like, giving a little bit of context, when you and I first met each other, like, you and I first met each other at a time where I was kind of like just now educating myself on entrepreneurship, right?
I remember where you was at in life.
Yeah, like, and you was
talking about wholesaling a lot.
You know what I'm saying? I was really on the real estate side and stuff like that, really trying to get my foot in the door in real estate, and, like, really, you know what I'm saying, looking at, okay, this is a way that I can, find my foot in the door that I kind of already had somewhat of an experience in. And, like, I knew that the money was attached to it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was going heavy on the education side of it, all of it. But you were one of the first people that I seen, like, working a job and still doing your business also, right? Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Showing up to work, but also still doing stuff for your business and stuff like that too. So it made it a little bit real. It was an example of, like, okay, this is what it looks like, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's nonstop or almost, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And but those things, like, those things kind of they planted seeds in me, I think, at a time where I needed them, because, again, I was just shooting blindly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have no real reference points, right? I didn't have no other entrepreneurs in my family that I can kind of speak to about, what the walk would be, right?
Tough, man.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I think even, how we kind of got connected, it was divine in that way, right? Because
absolutely.
You was one of the people that showed me, like, all right, working your job, but also keeping, this part of it too, building your business and stuff too. You know what I'm saying? So I think all of those things is important, man. I want to start kind of like, I want to go back a little bit too. I want to, like, really touch on your upbringing a little bit. Like, when you reflect on young Anthony, you know what I'm saying? Like, what was life like for young Anthony, man? We both getting older, you know what I'm saying, every day, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard not to look back at childhood stuff, especially, you become, you get close to 40, you like, damn, like,
bro, I woke up aching 2 days
no,
ago.
for real, bro. Your body a little different, like, bro. No, for real, bro.
For real, I woke up aching. So yeah, I understand. No, but you said what was life like for me?
Yeah, when you reflect on your upbringing and just childhood, man, what's some of the standouts, and just kind of like, what's some of the things that you think really helped you, and maybe some of the stuff that hindered you along the way too?
I think, man, I had a strong mom. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like, my mom, like, cared about me and my siblings. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. So, like, my mom was super strict. Like, she was like one of them, like, you gotta be in the house at 10:30. All my friends get to stay out till midnight.
Right.
So I'm the one that gotta go home early, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I had friends where they could kind of just, like, do what they want. You know what I'm saying? They really kind of had their way. Like, I don't know if it was a overpouring of trust that their parents had in them just to, like, let them move that way, or it was just a neglect thing. Like, I don't know. Like, but I think my mom, like, I had a strong I had a strong mom. Like she was, you know, like around my biological dad. Like I ain't really connect with him till I was, say maybe like, and I think we talked about this last time I was on, like last year. Where, you know, even, was it last year? It's 2024, so the year before last, 2022.
Okay.
And we connected, you know, put some water under the bridge on some of the things and issues that, or I ain't even gonna say issues, just the reality of our relationship or lack thereof. But like, you know, my mom was kind of, you know, she did a lot by herself. My stepfather, he was around sporadically in spurts. You know what I'm saying? He'd be here, he'd be there. You know, he had an addiction issue. So he'd either not be around because of that or, you know, get locked up every now and then. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of just, it was a roller coaster.
Right.
So you had good moments and then you had bad ones. Like, you know, not my biological father, my stepfather, who I don't even do the stepfather stuff.
Right.
That's my dad, you know what I'm saying? And that's how it's been, that's how it'll be, you know. But, you know, he'd be on. He was in the streets, you know what I'm saying? But he had addiction. He had been in the streets, and it was all good. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't.
What my dude Jim Jones said, he said, when it's on, it's Louis Chanel bags every day.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, it was good. But when it was bad, it was bad. You know what I'm saying? So early on in my life, you know, I'll say probably all the way up until like, man, 12, 13, man, you know, it was, you know, spurts of, you know, to the good things. And then like after that, you know, that's when the addiction kind of set in a little more. Mom's was on her own.
What year was this? What year were you 12?
Man, I don't even know. Let me see. I would say maybe around probably like maybe 98.
Okay.
98, something like that. When I went to high school, 20, 21. Yeah, so probably around like 99, 98, something like that. Because I started high school 2001. You know what I'm saying? Graduated 2005. So, yeah, I was 13, 14 going into high school. You know what I'm saying? So somewhere around that, it's probably like 99. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, late 90s, you know, beautiful time. You know what I'm saying? For sure. The 90s was dope. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he'd be around, but like, that's when I was at the age at that point when things kind of started to digress from a lifestyle standpoint, you know, at the crib, that was like the pivotal age for a young boy, a young man, where it's like, all right, you either gonna go left or you gonna go right. And I ain't really go left too fast. You know what I'm saying? I kind of like always had a sense of like right and wrong to a degree. Cause I feel like when you grow up in like the hood, right seem wrong sometimes. I mean, wrong seem right sometimes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even though they not, but it's like, all right, you know, it is what it is. Like, this just what it is, and this is how I gotta be. But you know, it was just really, man, just me, you know, out here with my dudes, you know, when I could be out. Mom worked. Was a talented young man. I like to think. Super talented. And just kind of out here figuring it out for real. Limited, like, examples, positive role models, you know, not really that present. If it wasn't a football, basketball, baseball coach, somebody that was a male figure that stepped into those roles, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, a lot of times, depending on who you are, the relationship you got with them, I ain't really had like super solid relationships with any of my coaches back then. So I know that sometimes coaches can step in as father figures for certain people, but that wasn't my story.
Right.
So, yeah, like I had a couple of people, man, in my family that were, you know, they cared about me like on a male side. Like my cousin Terrence, he was, but he always had his own things going on. But, whenever he was around and he was in town, he'll always make sure he hit me up, see where I was at, see how I was doing, and, just check on me. But, which I appreciate. But other than him, like, I ain't really have a lot of positive examples. So that kind of led me to, being into the streets and, doing certain things.
What I remember last time you was here, you spoke about like, despite even being in the hood, despite, going through circumstances, you still had a core set of like values, right? 100%. Like that helped you, even when you wanted to go left, you decided to go right, or you went left slower, what I'm saying, than where everybody else went. Like, 100%. You know what I'm saying? Talk about what some of those values was that, that was instilled in you that helped you in that time.
I think that like God put certain things in certain people. And I think that I was a person that I was just strong. I just always had a strong mind. And I had a certain level of discipline as it pertains to like how I lived my life young that a lot of my friends didn't have. And they probably really kind of like was led to like giving the peer pressure when it came to certain things. And I think certain things are gateways to, providing you with, turmoil in your life sometimes. At least that's how I digest it now when I think about it, looking back on it. So like when it came to like smoking and, drinking and stuff, like I ain't really get off into the light of that stuff, even though I was fighting and, doing a lot of stuff I ain't had no business doing back then when I was that age. But at the same time, like I still had limits. Right. And it was people around me to where it was like, all right, like, bruh, I'm just out here. Right. It is what it is. Like, it ain't no limits. Right, yeah. Like, we doing whatever. And I was like, no, like, that ain't really me. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I got a lot of the, pressures that, all of my other peers did too. You know what I'm saying? But for some reason, I don't know. I just always kind of been that type of person. So, always stood on my square, always, pretty much was an individual and understood at a young age that just because he does it or she does it or they do it, that don't mean that I got to do it, because I was always kind of like in tune with myself enough to know like what felt good and what didn't. You know what I'm saying? So if it ain't really feel good and it didn't feel right to me, like I just wasn't really rocking with it for real. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's just how it's always been that way. And I think, kind of growing up in the hood and experiencing certain things, whether it's like seeing people operate one way and learning to do the opposite, or seeing people operate one way and learning to operate the same way as them, I kind of took a lot of that from, different situations.
You learn what not to do.
100%.
You learn what not to do.
Yeah, for sure.
What, talk about some of those things that you again, being an adult now, what's some of the things you think you may have missed out on? Like something that you like, damn, like I can see how this impacts me today. Like I didn't have X, Y, and Z, you know what I'm saying, coming up. And again, not from a victimized standpoint, but just a standpoint of like, it just impacts how you move today.
So I think that growing up, I was always like led to like be shut off to like almost every experience that I wasn't familiar with.
What you mean?
So like, it's like today, all right, so today I struggle with like making new friends unless the connection is just at a certain level and it's so strong that it ain't no way around it. Like me and you. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like in the beginning, like it was like, all right, like I rock with dude. You know what I'm saying? It was, you know what I mean? Like it's how I go. Right. With certain people. And you just had those people. But I think that as it pertains to creating relationships, when you want to be a businessman and an entrepreneur and you get older and you realize that you need a team for a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? And you need reliable and solid people around you to work with, or to just, you know, having your life. You know what I mean? And I struggle with stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Connecting, being extroverted in certain spaces, because growing up, it was always like, you know what they say in Wipe Me Down, real niggas don't speak.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, I get it because I understand what you mean, like what they meant in that song, you know, and at that, and probably say, you know, in my teenage years and, you know, younger 20s, like, you know, I got it and it probably was beneficial to me in that space, in that time in my life. But, you know, when you want to elevate, it kind of, like, I see how that affected me practicing, well, I won't even say practicing, just like operating a certain way, operating in that way to where you shut off to, you know, talking to people or just holding casual conversation with a random person that you don't know.
Right.
Or I ain't talking to him or I don't know him.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mess with him. I don't know that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I operated like that. And all my friends, we kind of like operated like that. And that was kind of like standard operating procedures for us back then.
Yeah.
So
if I don't know you, I ain't trying to get to know you.
Or if, you know, you not connected with somebody that I know and that ain't your people's, and even if you are they people, sometimes I just need a minute to watch you for a minute to kind of see how you move, to see if you the type of person that I could really rock with, which I think, you know, that's valuable. You know what I mean? In certain instances, but, you know, I think I just took it a little too far when I was young. And that hurt me and it affected me as an adult, because I still, after being that way for so long, it's hard for me not to be that way as an adult. And I need to come up out of that. You know what I mean?
Did you ever see anybody, somebody like moving in the way that you wanted to? Like, did you have anybody that was like, dang, they know how to do what I'm trying to do, but I can't do it like that. I can't move like that. Was there any reference points that you had at all? As
a young person?
Yeah.
Nope. Nah. So it was, I can't say that I did because, we just, you know, we ain't really had too many examples growing up, positive examples, you know, growing up. You seen the same thing. You was a drug dealer, you know what I'm saying? You was a hooper, football players, you know, typical stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you just kind of figured, you know, that was the lane that you was going to have to choose. It was either or, if not all of them. You know what I'm saying? Because you had people that was in the athletics and, you know, they was an athlete. They was out here in the streets, you know what I'm saying, doing certain things. And I wasn't really drawn to the streets like that because I was, but I wasn't. You know, I was drawn to the things that you got from being in the streets, like the rewards and the admiration and the respect that people showed the niggas with the money. You know what I'm saying? Or people who had this and had that. So I always wanted that. But, you know, I dibbled and dabbled in certain instances with stuff, but I just didn't trust people enough to continue that lifestyle and do those types of things because I was always afraid. And it goes back to, I don't know you. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't too sure about this person. So, you know what I mean? I guess that kind of led me to not do certain things that I shouldn't have been doing as well.
I'm so glad you said the word afraid, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, bro, that's what it just be for all of us, right? Like it really be making me sad, and it really be fucked up. For none of y'all niggas. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna tell neither in my mind. So I don't even want to put myself in a situation to where I'm forced to not tell and just take this L on the chin, whatever it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm just referring to, like, you know, being afraid to do things that we don't know how to do them, right? Like we have this fear, we had this lingering fear of like, dang, I can't do this because this ain't how we do, right? Like, and if anything outside of that, you gonna be villainized for doing so.
100%.
Right? Like, it don't even have to be anything. It's like, you know, making relationships. It can be simple as like, you know, listening to a different type of music as everybody else, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't try to listen to something that's not in these boxes in which we rock with, right?
No, if it's not if it's not like a part of the culture that you come from or you grow up in, then 9 times out of 10 it ain't gonna be accepted. I got a story.
Go ahead.
I got a friend, really a couple of them. When I went back to school, around the time I was at Boys and Girls Club with you and I met you, I took a couple African American studies classes. You know what I'm saying? I was reading. You know what I mean? Because it was habitual at that point. I'm reading for school, so I'm reading for, my own personal pleasures too. And I'm reading a lot of stuff on, African history.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Before slavery.
Right. Yeah.
And learning about how, black people created the finger piano.
Right.
Finger piano later became the actual piano. And, a lot of the people that created the instruments that classical music was played with was what? They was black.
Right. Yeah,
so ultimately,
a lot of that shit from Africa.
Yeah, for sure. Uh-huh. You know what I'm saying? And to learn like certain things about how classical music is traditionally like a black art form. Mm-hmm. So I got into it. So I would listen to classical music. I like the strings. You know what I'm saying? And I remember I was riding one day. I was riding to work one day. Look, I'm riding to work one day. I got the classical music on. I'm about to go, deal with the Boys and Girls Club stuff. And you know how you on Instagram and you riding and you playing your music. You know what I'm saying? My friends told me up, man, for playing that classical music. I'm talking about, nigga, what is you doing? You don't listen to that. You know what I'm saying? This, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, man, y'all niggas corny. Y'all don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then what's funny is a couple years later, so one of my friends that actually, teased me in that moment and was messing with me a little bit, we had a conversation about him and how he, learned some stuff and, he was growing and he had had the same revelations, so to speak, that I did. Like, black people did this and did that. And he was like, yeah, like even classical music, that's our music. And I'm like, nigga, remember when I, you know what I'm saying? Right. You feel me? Like, remember when I was doing it and he was like, no, I don't remember that. I'm like, then he was like, no, I do remember that. Dang, man, that's crazy. I'm like, yeah, so it was a funny story. You know what I mean? But no, 100%. If it's not like something that's like familiar or originate from, the culture, they'll tear you up about it, man, for real. And then in some instances, I could understand. But, when you limit yourself and your growth by staying in a certain box, in a certain lane as it pertains to how you grew up, when it hinders your growth and it prevents you from growing as a person and, learning, I think that's problematic for sure.
Did you have are there any other fears that stand out to you that you was like, damn, I wanted to do X, but like, I know, you know what I'm saying, the homies, like, you know what I'm saying, my people in my family they wouldn't known that. I really wanted to try to do this, but it wasn't no way to do that.
I don't think that I had any other ones. Like growing up, I was pretty confident. Even to this day, like I was confident enough to take an interest in stuff and do them. Okay. Even if I did it in private. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's how I kind of did art. I did it in private for a long time. Mm-hmm. Because I was afraid. But I always have been interested in art for years. Like go to the museums, check stuff out. And was always curious about how people drew stuff, painted stuff, and made it look a certain way. Not understanding it was techniques to it. You know what I'm saying? Because you would look at something and be like, man. Sometimes you would look at art and be like, man, I could do that. All they did was threw this on a canvas or did this and did that. Mm-hmm. But like I was kind of afraid with that. But once I actually to spend some time with it and learn certain things and got comfortable enough with just understanding that, this just is really just is for me and understanding what it did for me as far as like being a form of therapy and just giving me an opportunity to let off some creative energy because I'm a creative person. And I feel like when you creative and you don't have the opportunity to create, it'll mess with you. Yeah. And it can, it can kind of, I don't know. It can have a negative effect on you for real. And I think that art was one of them things that helped me because I don't think that I had an opportunity to create something and be proud of it for a while because I would create things as far as like an entrepreneur standpoint is concerned. But I think it's tricky with that because you cannot respect it or understand the value of what you did if you feel like it didn't sell or people ain't messing with it like you want them to.
Right.
So you don't really see the value in it, but art was just like, you know, like it was something that I did and, you know, I was just like, I like this. And that was enough for me at that point.
When did you learn that you was a creative? How long did you know that? When's your earliest memories of realizing that about yourself?
I think that, like, I realized that when I can't even put an age on it, but I was just always, I realized I was a creative dude probably around like 8 or 9. Like I taught myself how to play the drums. And I taught myself how to play the drums from going to church with my mom and literally watching the dude play the drums every Sunday. And like, if we went to like Bible study, I would like look and see what he was doing and look at his feet and see that he'd be, you know, double tapping the paddle or like single tapping it and, you know, just memorizing the patterns and the rhythms and like the basic functions of like, how he started, or if they had a new drummer come, or if another church visited, usually they'd switch out the choir, switch out the person on the piano or the organ, and a new drummer would come. So I just always paid attention. And like one day, like I just went over and got on the drums and just started playing. And you know, just kind of taught myself how to do that. I was in a Pokemon young. I just started looking at the cars one day, like I wonder if I could draw this. So I was always curious, but I was always curious and would be willing to try certain things. And, you know, it'd be like, dang, like I actually, you know,
and
I'm pretty good at certain things.
Did you do those things in private too, or did you share those?
100% did it in private.
Yeah.
Why
you think that was?
I don't know. I think it's like you always kind of like insecure. In general, I think adults are insecure about a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I'm insecure about stuff like now as a grown man. But like as a kid, like, you know what I'm saying? You don't never really know like how the world or people around you will receive what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I think I grew up in a time, which I think the kids do now, but it's like being creative or being like smart and being different than what people think is, you know, acceptable and what you need to be or what's considered to be cool. Like, you know, people, they always kind of, he weird, he draw, like stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure. Yeah, I got that the same way, man. Like I said, I've said this a couple of times since we've been talking. I didn't even consider myself to be a creative person until more recently. But then again, man, and kind of reflecting and just, you know, thinking about, all right, because I'm learning, bro, that a lot of adulthood, especially when it comes to like living a high quality life, it really is getting back to like that childhood core, that childhood center of stuff that like really brought you like real, you know, genuine joy, right? Bro, I used to draw all the time.
Really?
All the time. I had notebooks and notepads of just like drawing stuff. I would draw different.
That's hard.
I would draw different characters. I would like look at stuff and I would draw. But I forgot how much I would do it, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I would like, because I was always really, really smart in school and shit. So I would like do my homework and I'm just drawing, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Even I would play the game for a little bit, but I would just draw. And it was just a way that I would just pass time. And I would literally do it for a long time. And another thing that I did was like, you know, we came up in the poster era, right? So like, you know what I'm saying? The magazines and shit. I had hella posters on the wall. But like, I remember that the way that I would organize my posters was I wasn't just throwing shit on the wall.
You would organize it a certain way.
Yeah. I had a Jordan section. I had a penny and Shaq section. You know what I'm saying? I had a section for shoes. Like, you know what I'm saying? I organized it a certain type of way. I had my drawings over here. Like, you know what I'm saying? I had things organized in a certain way, you know, that I would create or whatnot. Yeah. But I didn't really remember how much time that I would spend on that. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't, and this is the part that I'm kind of trying to remember back to. Like somewhere along the line, I lost it. I lost the love, but I lost the, you know, the ideas to get on it. And I'm sure that somewhere along there, it stems from somebody telling me, man, that ain't like you weird or you doing something that's wrong. Like I was shamed somewhere, somehow. I can't find it yet, but I can't think of it just yet. But somewhere along the line, I'm sure that happened to me.
And I think it's important, man. That's why I think like and I don't have kids, you know what I'm saying? But the role of a parent is so important because it's your job to see those things in your kids.
Yep.
And I think that, you know, I had gripes. I had major gripes. Like I was like, I had a lot. I was so mad at my parents at one point in time in my life because I felt like I wasn't living up to my potential. And I felt like part of the reason, a major reason why I always would showcase, because, you know, I've been talented and been a creative kid my whole life. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like at a pivotal point in time in my life, like my late teens, like getting ready to graduate, I was realizing that I was gravitating more towards sports and my abilities to, you know, play football and baseball and basketball were presenting themselves to be something that I could potentially do on a collegiate level that could have provided me with a free education, could have put me in a different space in life. And it didn't work out for me like that. But I blame my parents because I remember like playing football and like my mom would be like, yeah, like people at my job came to the game and they told me you did this and they told me you did that and this, that, and the other. And, you know, my mom, she worked. I can't really fault her that much. She was doing what she, you know, as a parent, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, to survive.
And it ain't no playbook with it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't no playbook. So she would try to be there as much as she could, but I ain't really, again, not having the male figures in my life to kind of like push me and support me and encourage me and affirm some of the things that, you know, I was doing at the time. It bothered me once I got out of high school and like thought about it, and it made me bitter. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't really rock with people in my family like that because I felt like they failed me for real. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it sat with me like that for years. Like I was depressed, like would cry. All my friends playing football, they went to college. You know what I'm saying? Because what happened was they parents ended up I went to Kennedy. I went to like it's like a book door. Well, book door, they like the Glenville out here in Akron when they come right, to certain stuff. No, for sure. But like going to like a North or a book door, you know what I'm saying? One of those types of schools. So they ain't really get a lot of looks. You know what I'm saying? My friends, all my closest friends to this day, they parents transferred them out of the schools that year, the last year. So they sent them to, you know, Warrensville, Maple, you know, and my mom was going to send me to Garfield. And I'm a kid. I'm stupid. I'm like, no, I don't want to go. My friends ain't really want to go neither, but they parents was like, no, like y'all going. And then they went to college and played football and they had that experience. You know what I'm saying? My parents did the opposite. They allowed me to make the decision to stay, which essentially it hurt me in the long run. You know what I'm saying? So I was, for a few reasons, you know what I mean? But, you know, I think that it's real important, man, to pay attention to your kids and notice like the little stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like just the creative aspects, even if it's just like Messiah. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Picking up a camera at this age, like it might be nothing, but it might be something. Right. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Like I feel you with what you said though. You know what I'm saying? All right,
so two questions on that. The first one is all right, so you said you was real bitter for a long time. You held that resentment towards your people for a long time. Mm-hmm. How was you able to how was you able to kind of work through that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Was it just a time thing? Was it communication at one point in time? Was it wisdom on your part that you kind of able to just kind of understand a little bit deeper? And the other side of that question is, right, again, this is my belief system. You know, I do believe that things are in divine order. And I share some of the same stuff you talking about too, like where I felt like I wasn't living up to my potential, and I felt like I was cheated in a way, you know, because I felt like I feel like I had a lot of good foundation, but I felt like a couple of other pieces that I needed to like really be able to succeed or go further.
Put you where you needed to be.
Like I didn't have it because I was missing 100%. Stuff at home, right? I felt that way for a long time. But the other question that I have for you is that at any point have you looked at, because you also said that they gave you the opportunity to make your own decision. Have you ever looked at it from the standpoint of like, yo, they trusted me enough they gave me the freedom to make my own decision? Was that ever any of your thought process at all?
It wasn't, but when you say it that way, it's value in that.
Right. No, for real.
It is. It's value in that.
It is. Because I'm sure
value in that.
I'm sure that some of the other dudes you spoke about went to college. I'm sure some of them ain't. Maybe some of them ain't doing the best, or some of it ain't work out the best. Yeah. Something like, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. You can always find something.
No, for sure. I ain't look at it that way.
Right.
But that's real, and I think it's definitely value in that. And I got to a point where I had to take accountability for my part in it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you know, when it was fresh. And I always kind of been a dude that had a chip on my shoulder, man. Like I felt like, and we can get into that. But backtrack to what I was saying, like, I got to a point where, you know, it took me a couple years, but I had to hold myself accountable for the part that I played in and the things that I did and I didn't do. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And once I kind of, you know, made peace with that within myself about what I didn't do, it was easier for me to do that with my parents. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because it was a lot of stuff that I could have did that regardless of what they didn't do, you know what I'm saying? Like I still would have been able to do certain things if I would have, you know, just handled my business and been a little bit more serious about certain things. But
how'd you work through the resentment?
Outbursts, lashing out in the beginning, for sure. Like, I ain't gonna lie, me and my parents done went toe-to-toe on that a couple of times. But for real, I think it just took time for me to just get older and just understand life a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? For me to, and for me to see how I reacted later on in life and made poor decisions and just kind of realized that at this point in time in my life, I'm really just a poor decision maker.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like on some being real, like I'm making poor decisions
after
poor decision after poor decision. Mm-hmm. So it can't just be all on them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta, you know, hold myself accountable for certain things that I did and didn't do. But it was that, and I think it was a little bit of the fact that I felt like I was always overlooked. Like I rolled with like a popular crew of dudes like growing up. I was always like the sleeper nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like I kicked it with, like we were all cool, but it was always like I was quiet. I wasn't really like the dude that was like super outgoing and that was just like out here. I can't say that I was always I didn't wear my confidence on my sleeve. I was confident, but it was like I had friends, they'd go up and talk to 20 girls and get told no every time.
Right.
And then go to 21 and get a number and be like, yeah, like
right.
I wasn't that person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Find the one of the couple that
and if a one told me no, it was probably gonna be a no. I was cool after that, like no, like you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you know what I mean? Like I don't know, like I was just kind of different. I always looked at myself as like a sleeper. But even just like different things that happened to me in life, I'd never forget this, man. I'm gonna keep it short though. I was playing football, and when I first started playing football, in the immunity league, and if they played favorites, but I was a tall, skinny kid. Most of the tall, skinny kids played line. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't showcase your athleticism early, and you know what I'm saying? You wasn't playing quarterback or running back, bro. You going on the line, bro. They ain't really throwing the ball like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they put me on the line. I played defense. So I played my first year. The following year, they was like, anybody that want to, try out for these positions, we gonna race for the positions. So I wanted to play running back. I ain't want to play tailback. I just wanted to play fullback. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They looking at me like, you want to play what? This, that, and the other. Now, mind you, I played other sports. Always been one of the top players in baseball. Always been one of the top players in basketball. When I played football, was just one of them sports where I played on a team where, they had people that came up from this level and that level, and, they were them guys. So it was hard to beat them out of spot because they had already built so much trust with the coaches from the coaches seeing them play on the lower level. So when they came up, they knew like this person play this person play that. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, we gonna race. They paired me, man, with one of the fastest dudes, man, on the team. I smoked him.
Oh, yeah?
Swear to God, I smoked him. By a distance too, like probably, it was some. Right. They looked at me, they looked at him. They was like, y'all got to race again.
Oh, I'm like, for what?
I'm like, why? Killed my confidence, bro. I let him win the second time. I ain't even want it because it ain't even about, you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't about whether or not I got the skills or not, or if I'm fast or this, that, and the other. It's just, you know what I'm saying? You just don't want me in that. You don't want me in that position. Right. So I let him win. And I just kept playing line.
You feel like flashes of that show throughout the rest of life.
All the time.
Where you call yourself the sleeper. You let other people get the shine, get the admiration. Yeah. Even though you was right there, even though you was just as good.
I'm probably just as good, if not better.
Right.
And I operated like that for so long, and I was mad at myself in that period of time where, like I had to sit with the fact that I wasn't where I wanted to be. And a lot of, I had to sit with it, but I blamed it on my parents and, did that and didn't really hold myself accountable for it. So it took me a while, man. It took me a while. And even to this day, like I'm still kind of that person. Like I know I could beat you 10 times in a row, but I'm going to let you win 5. Like that's the type of person I am. I just ain't I don't have a juggernaut mindset. Like I ain't got Mamba mentality. Right. Like Kobe, I'm gonna kill you every time.
You got the Brown mentality then. You said, yeah, okay, all right, come back full circle. Yeah, he's just a nice guy, man. Yeah, nothing wrong with it. Yeah,
that is hilarious. That is right on time. Hey, that was a good one. Facts. That was a good one.
Yeah, you got the Brown. Yeah,
like I ain't never. You know what I'm saying? And I had a conversation with one of my friends not too long ago. And he kind of lit into me. He was like, man, you got to get some dog in you. You know what I'm saying? And I do at some moments in time. And like when it comes to certain situations, like I just operate a certain way,
Dog, that's so, I resonate with so much of what you're saying, right? And then the last part you just said about how your dude got on you, right? Like, see, to me, like when I heard everything that you said, right? I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, all right, I wonder if bruh ever had the opportunity to just be able to like express his emotions in any places. Because if you would have got the opportunity to be able to tell, if you would have had maybe the opportunity to be able to say, yo, man, they didn't want me. Like I raced this dude, I beat him by a margin, they ain't raced me. That kind of, that messed my confidence up a little bit. It hurt my feelings a little bit. It made me feel X, Y, and Z in the proper spaces as a young kid. And somebody would have just let you just share that and you maybe consoled you, whatever. Ain't no telling what that may have done for that little 8-9-year-old little dude at that point in time, right? Because I feel a lot of the same ways, man. When I experienced things as a child, a lot of times I felt the stuff that like, really had like wounds and like, suffered internal wounds. I had to hold that stuff inside, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember I was telling this story before, like, you know, it's so funny how stuff really impacts us, right? I was actually holding this mental health group a week ago, and we were talking about the topic of shame. And I asked everybody about like when their earliest experiences of embarrassment was or whatever, right? And like, you know, when they came around to me, like everybody kind of spoke about like, man, I got beat up when I was a kid. Like I was like, man, I ain't never letting that happen. I got beat up in front of everybody, the whole neighborhood. I ain't never letting that happen. Other guy said something about, man, my mom showed up when I was at school. You know, it kind of like it shifted the whole narrative of what everybody at school thought I was doing. Like every other people shared their experiences. I'm like, man, I never forget one of the earliest moments that I had of shame. I might have been in the first or second grade, right in the neighborhood, this cute little girl in the neighborhood. We all just kicking and hanging out, whatever. Man, this little girl kissed me on the cheek. Most little dudes, you would think that most little dudes would be excited, they'd be bashed or whatever. Bruh, I ran home crying that the little girl kissed me on the cheek because I'm embarrassed. I'm like, man, man, I ain't supposed to be out here kissing no girls, but I ain't supposed to be out here letting no girls kiss me, like, you feel me?
That's a good one.
But check this out though, like I had to hold it. You feel me? Like I didn't have no spaces at the crib to just be able to share what I was feeling. So I just had to hold that. So when I came back outside, everybody let me have it. Like, you know what I'm saying? They just roasted me. They clowned me about it and shit like that. So what that did was subconsciously was I'm never going to let that happen again. So some way, some down the line, like when it came to girls, I made sure that was how I exerted my manhood, my masculinity, like how I exerted my confidence. Bruh, it's never gonna be a question if I'm like, you know, if I'm with it
and I'm a ladies man.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah. Not only am I gonna like show up in a way that we're like, you gonna know that that's never the case again. I'm gonna overcompensate. You feel me? Because I'm high in that childhood womb because I didn't have the proper place to be able to express that.
It's crazy because I think men overcompensate so much on everything.
That's what I'm saying.
Especially when it comes to women.
Yes, man.
Because being vulnerable with a woman is like one of the most dangerous spaces a man can be in, dependent on a woman.
So did you hear what Shaq just said recently? I literally was listening to this before you came by today.
What'd he say?
Shaq was on this podcast. He was talking, I think it was Country Wayne and whoever his co-host was.
Oh, yeah.
You heard what he said?
No. I'm thinking about Shannon. I'm thinking about Shannon Sharp and Country.
Shaq says, he said that when it comes to being vulnerable with a woman, like he said, he's never opened up to a woman, and it's like, why? Like they said, when the last time you opened up to a woman? He was like, me, never. He's like, why not? He said, anytime you open up to a woman, he said, if you open up to a woman, she gonna use it against you. So I don't never open up to no women. He said, even when I was married, I don't never open up to a woman. Now, a big part of me was like, I feel him because I've lived that. Right? Like I've lived that. There's been points in that where I've lived that even in my marriage, in my relationship with C. Like I've had to like check myself. Like, man, I ain't gonna get
for sure
too much because she may throw it in my face when we, whatever the case may be. Yeah. So I know that I feel like I felt what he was saying, but then the other part of me, I was just like, nah, man,
it's necessary.
You can't do that.
It's necessary. You can't do that.
And here's the thing too. It ain't even about somebody using it against me. It's about I got to be able to be vulnerable and open up because it's good for me. And that's where the overcompensating part comes, right? Because we doing stuff for this outside validation, this outside protection. When reality of it is that no, you be vulnerable for you.
100%.
Like you deserve to be vulnerable. Like 100%. You know what I'm saying? Shaq, you deserve to be vulnerable, my nigga. Like you deserve to be vulnerable for you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like I'm currently coming out of a situation where I feel like, my vulnerability with a woman didn't necessarily get me nowhere.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't, the thing is a lot of time when you open up to people in general, like.
That's the thing. There you go. Keep going.
When you open up to people in general, a lot of people don't know what to do with it when you give it to them. And you know what I'm saying? It ain't even that they don't want to be there for you in a certain capacity. They just may not know how.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Because we all go through things. we all have experiences that shape who we are and our current space and our current state in life. And, but I feel him. I know how it feels, you know what I'm saying, from a recent standpoint and from a past standpoint of dealing with a woman. And, you know what I'm saying, like your vulnerability level might be through the roof that specific day because it just might be where you at, and then just like, dang, like I shouldn't have did that.
So do it make you? So how would make you feel today and like moving forward? Do you want some like, all right, I'm just gonna keep it within, or are you not getting jaded like that?
No, because I feel how you feel. I feel like it's necessary, and it's necessary for you to do it for you. I just think that in moderation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's it. Use your discernment.
But I think you gotta discern the type of person that you're dealing with.
There you go.
You know, you gotta have a certain level of discernment when it comes to, who you dealing with.
That's right.
And, understand how far you can go.
I agree with you.
You know what I'm saying? Understand how far you can go. And that's not something that I did well in my last situation too, to not put it on that person, but to put it on me. I was smart enough to see, but for real, you know what I'm saying? It was just something I needed to do. Even though that person might not have been the perfect fit for me to be in that space with, I did it more so for me than anything because it just needed to come out. And that's just where I needed to be in that moment.
Man, talk to me a little bit about rekindling that relationship with your biological father. Like, especially as you talk about, man, I did it. You did something for you. Talk about like what that was like for you and how maybe even the difficulties that came with that, or why you felt that was necessary, and how that's maybe been a bright spot for you today.
So a couple years back, I was talking to a girl fairly seriously. And I told her about my biological father, told him what he did for a living. Cause she had asked me about him and I ain't really know much, but I, told her what I knew what he did, for a living, and you know what I'm saying, where he used to live and the siblings that I knew he had, that I knew I had, that I ain't know like that. Long story short, he was a mechanic. So we, stopped talking for real. We had decided to stop talking.
You and the girl?
Me and the girl. Mm-hmm. Yeah, me and the girl. Excuse me. We decided to stop talking, and like 2 weeks later, I got a message from my biological father. So I'm like, he like, hey man, I got your number from your girl, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 whatever. Just wanted to, connect with you, whatever. So she needed to get her car fixed. Her cousin worked at a AutoZone. Her cousin's mechanic was my biological father. So she asked my cousin, like, hey, like, I need to get these parts. You know somebody that could fix my car. Her cousin sent her to my biological father. So they got to talking while he was fixing the car or whatever. And she said that her words is she said that she seen similarities in, our posture and just like us in the way that we walked and moved and different things like that. And she played it in her mind, put two and two together, and like asked him, like, not trying to be too invasive, but do you have a son named Anthony? And he was like, yeah. And she was like, I knew it. They got to talking. She gave him my phone number, which I felt like was a little too much.
right,
what I'm saying?
Overstepping. And
we had a conversation about that, but at the same time, like, that's how me and him originally connected. So I talked to him. He left me a message. I ain't answer it right away because I remember it was around Thanksgiving. So I called him probably a couple days later and we talked. And we fell off. We ain't really talked after that for a while. And probably like a year later, like he had called me and, we had talked. And, I told him like, man, I want to have like a real conversation with you though. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, man, look, I know I should have been there. I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I was young. had my wife in my ear at the time, and you know, love my mama to death. But my mom seemed like when I got the information, she was like the side chick, you know what I'm saying, that he was dealing with. And our parents be, you don't understand really like the dynamics of what it was, and it was like really, I think either my mama knew or she didn't. I don't know the details, you know what I'm saying, but he was messing with my mom, and he had a girl. So I guess his girl found out about my mom. They ain't like each other. And he ended up getting my mom pregnant. So it was like one of them, you know, you gonna be around her, you ain't. He wanted to be with his girl. As a man, I understand.
Right, yeah.
I would have wanted to be with my girl too. Now, I'm not gonna not take care of my kid though.
Right.
But at the same time, like that was his path and that's what he chose to do.
Right.
So, you know, that's kind of how that, you know, transpired. And I mean, you know, it go back to not really understanding. I mean, you know, understanding that, you know, it ain't no playbook to it. And, you know, I forgave him, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because he wasn't really around, so I didn't have the mixed emotions about him. I ain't had the opportunity to have the Will Smith, why he ain't want me moments.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because he just wasn't around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and I don't think that I don't think that I had misfortune in my life as a result of him not being there neither. You know what I'm saying? Which may not be the case for everybody, but I genuinely don't feel like him not being around negatively affected me. You know what I'm saying? And maybe I may be ignorant and maybe need to lay on somebody's couch and they need to, you know, present it to me, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't see it that way, like growing up, you know what I'm saying?
Do you think you would have been able to forgive him in that way if he was around, maybe? If you would have had a relationship with him? Or you just don't know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I mean, it's one of them things where it kind of, I think it would kind of depend on what the nature of our relationship was if he was around and what would have transpired between me and him if he was around. You know, some things people may consider to be a forgiving act. Other things, you know, you probably feel like you can't come back from them. So, I mean, I guess it just depends on the context of the situation.
Do that change the dynamic? Did it change the dynamic of relationship with you and your mother?
When I found out about not really. Nah, because my mom was the one that told me.
Right.
You know, he told me and then I went back to her and she was like, yeah, you know, it is what it is. Like, you know what I mean? But, you know, it was just one of them situations where, you know, they was young, 21. When I was 21, I was fried. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of them situations where you young and, you know, you understand because I'm older now. You know what I'm saying? I understand. And for real, I just see so many people just absent in their kids' lives, even, you know, at this point in time too. And I just see how, I don't want to say it's easy, but I just see how often it happens for, you know, men that have kids and not be in their lives a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And just, you know, just drift away.
Was any one of your parents a creative?
My mom is.
Your mom is.
My mom painted before I did.
Really?
Yeah. My mom has always been like a creative person on the low. And I think my mom, she kind of struggled with like, you know, having the confidence to do certain things.
Sure.
She told me that. Those are her words, not mine. She told me that she always had dreams and wanted to do certain things, but sometimes ain't had the confidence to do them or, you know, just didn't have the backing or the support to do it either. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, my mom was a creator. My mom she does pour painting. But she always, you know, kind of showcase like different forms of creativity, whether it's decorating the house, you know what I'm saying, growing up, themed, you know, type decor around like the seasons and different stuff like that. But I think she always kind of showed flashes of, you know, creativity. We probably just ain't pay attention to it. I didn't until I got older, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, I didn't. My mom Just another fun fact about you and I too. Like you and my mother share the same birthday.
It's wild.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's crazy is you and my little cousin, who you adopted my little cousin from my wife now. Two people who are close to me now have my mother's birthday.
That's crazy.
So it's crazy. So it's crazy in that way. But I didn't know. My mother was fly. Like she got dressed like that was what she did, right? Like she would look forward to putting shit on. Like she could put stuff together, but it also showed flashes in like interior decoration and just like, you know, how she was able to see things and be able to know how they were supposed to look.
That's
right.
Wow. Yeah, that's like, a crazy talent.
That's
to
a gift.
When you think about
that's
it,
that's
a
a real
100%.
gift. She and like I now able to remember like she did that stuff with like plants and flowers and stuff like that. She, you know, she would do that type of stuff with furniture. Like she had a passion for being able to do that. But again, being ignorant for real and not really knowing, having my ideas of like what this box of creativity looked like, I didn't know that's what, you know, creativity was. I didn't know that creativity was this nuance, right? Like I didn't know that creativity was like this, like, you know, extremely gray area of thing. And, you know, I don't even know if she even looked at it like that because I never heard her speak of it in that form of fashion. But now I'm able to see that, like, you know, the seeds of creativity and creation was kind of always around, and it was around, you know, in my mother, right? And I think that, thank God, like, you know, when I did start to get into like, you know, wanting to be an entrepreneur, even though I really wasn't clear on what that wanted to be, and I did communicate to my mom, she was supportive of that, right?
That's
like
dope.
she wanted me to keep my job and stuff like that.
That's
She ain't want me to
They
like
always want you to keep that job,
like, you
for
know what I'm
sure.
saying, keep your job, bro. But she was like, you know, she was big on like, all right, bro, like if that's what you want to do, like I believe you can figure it out, type of thing. So I think she, you know, I think she knew the value in like, all right, even if she couldn't have her own aspirations or didn't chase her own aspirations, I think she knew that she wanted me to lean into that some way, somehow.
Absolutely. I think it's important to be whole.
Yeah, it
You know
is,
what I'm
man.
saying? I think it's important to be whole. Yeah.
How does creativity, like, you know, how does it help with just like how does it just help you feel good? Like how does it help with just like your overall well-being?
I feel like I'm living I feel like I'm, you know, my truest self. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it helped with being whole, and I think that it comes naturally. You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
and see, you create you I know you to be one of them creative people, and that's the thing to talk about being a creative. It's not just one thing, right? Like, and when you like to create stuff, you don't just stay on one stuff. Like you create art and paintings and, you know, games and, like, you know what I'm saying, clothes, like, you know what I'm saying, you create in a variety of different ways as well.
Yeah. No, and I always like try to link like my creative energy with purpose. Mm-hmm. Ironically.
Yeah. LYP, you feel me?
Yeah, LYP.
Yeah.
Shameless plug.
Right, yeah, facts.
No, but I've always tried to link my creativity and things that I, you know, aspire to do and the things that I create with some type of purpose. You know what I'm saying? You know, which I think sometimes it make it a little bit more difficult to live in your purpose and, you know what I'm saying, and do things like that sometimes because it's not easily digested or accepted by the masses the same way that the fluff and the BS is. But, you know, I think that me doing that, you know, that helps with like a different aspect of my life too, because I feel like I'm somebody that was like born to fulfill a purpose. And I know people who don't tie their purpose or tie purpose to the things that they do and their talents. So they might know how to draw and they just, you know, it's something that they just do because they have fun with and they try not to take it too serious. It is what it is. But I always try to tie like purpose and like helping people in some kind of way. Specifically, you know, my people, black people, in some kind of way to, you know, anything that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? As far as me creating stuff goes.
Well, that kind of brings us back full circle to the origin of how we met, man, and like, this willingness to help young people, right? Like, you know what I'm saying, really be intentional about working with young people and helping young people. Like, man, me and you still do collabs to this day, years later after working together. Like, we still, just have a bond and just like a understanding of just like understanding the bigger picture with helping young people. But I want to hear from you, like, why is that important to you? Like, why is pouring into young people and like, helping young folks and like, working with young people, why is that important to you?
Cause, man, it makes me sad to know that there's a lot of people out here, man, that just living life and growing up, not even realize that they in like a maze and they in a continuous cycle. Mm-hmm. And, the world and the community that they grow up in don't even give them a shot and they don't even realize it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's important to me, man, because I always wanted to be what I didn't have for certain people. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's somebody to be supportive. That's somebody to be there in different times of need. That's somebody to be there to hold you accountable and tell you when you right and tell you when you wrong. And somebody that just to be there, man, to, give you advice, and to love on you for real. Cause I think it's important. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these young people, they don't be receiving love the right way.
Right.
And the way that I think they internalize it sometimes is they internalize the wrong things as like, terms of endearment or, acts of love, and, it puts you in a fried space, man, later on down the line, man. And I just always wanted to be there for the young people and, people in general for real, not even just young, like older or people of age, like just wanted to be a helping hand in the community however I could, to, help people. Cause life is hard, man.
It is.
It's hard, man. It's hard for anybody of any race, any demographic, but when you young and you black and I know what that's like growing up in certain spaces or just being young and black in general in any space, like it's difficult, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It can be difficult, you know what I'm saying? So it's so many dynamics and so many different ways to slice the pie, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I just always wanted to provide guidance and, just be there for the people, man. You know what I'm saying? Especially like the young people.
Yeah, man. For me, I think it's I really just be trying to look at stuff as just seed planting, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's important. Like, I know that one of my biggest blessings in life is that I've been connected to beautiful people in some capacity, despite people's flaws, despite people's shortcomings and stuff like that. Like I can reference point, like, where somebody gave me a lifelong piece of game or a lifelong gem, whether I was close to him or not. Like, you know what I'm saying? It could have even just like, I have a professor down when I was at Stark State College, man, who gave me a real nice gem of just like, I remember I was literally about to go to Columbus to kick it. I was about to drop out of school and her just calling and saying, bruh, get your ass back here in my class. Like, that was something that just let me know, like, all right, there's somebody that sees something that cares a little bit more about this than I do. Like, let me show a level of respect to her, and it helped me down the line. So, it's important for me to just be like, when it comes to young people, just to be a reference point of somebody like, all right, man, Mr. John was like, it wasn't, maybe my life wasn't perfect, but it was this one dude named Mr. John who gave me X, Y, and Z.
The thing is I think people underestimate the impact of stuff like that so much.
Bruh.
It's so many situations that I done had in my life with people that probably don't even realize, and it's just the smallest thing. As a young person, you remember that. I remember stuff from when I'm 19, 20 years old.
That's right.
That people have done with me like that. And it's just like, you just grateful.
That's it, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you grateful at this point in time, even if you listened or didn't listen. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just grateful, man, that, you know, people would even think that much of me to even take the time to try with me. Just try.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Just trying.
That's it, man. Because you know, love really is an action. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's gonna look different across the board, man. So like, when you give love in that type of way, yeah, it can go a long way. And man, you can pay it forward. That can change somebody's whole trajectory. You never know what people is going through internally. You may say you might tell somebody have a nice day or thank you or give somebody a smile, a hug, whatever. And man, it may be their inspiration to want to live another day. And that can help them so on and so on and so on, man. So like, yeah, when it comes to like young people specifically, man, it's important to just be mindful of that. You know what I'm saying? Because, man, especially teenagers that we talking about. Teenagers got it rough. You know what I'm saying? They're a neglected group of people, because it's almost like this book that I'm reading. She references that teenage years is hard because it's like this it's this pivotal point where you are asserting yourself enough to be able to like point out the hypocrisy in your parents or the adults that you come from, but you still young enough and you don't have enough wisdom to where, you know, you can't really like see the long-term effects of everything. Just like you pointed out, like stuff with your parents, whatever, like you really can't understand it fully, but you shouldn't be shut off completely because you still got a voice. Mm-hmm. Right, like when you young and you like, you know, you passionate, your voice tends to be silenced, right? So it's important not to silence young people's voice, man, and, you know, give them an opportunity, because you never know what that could be.
No, I agree. Silencing young people, man, is, I don't know. Yeah, it could be life-changing for real. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what you can do to somebody, man, by doing something like that, especially, like, you know, the more passionate young people and individuals, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
But no, that's real. Mm-hmm. It sounds like a good book for real. Yeah, she's spot on with that.
No, for real. Bell Hooks, man. Bell Hooks, man. She talking, man. It's an A1 book. I gotta finish it.
She stepped with that one.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. No, for real. I gotta finish it, because she's definitely is talking in that one, man. Well, listen, man. I appreciate you coming on, man. This has been a dope conversation. I appreciate you being yourself. Mm. I appreciate you being vulnerable and open and sharing your story. Sure. I'm sure somebody's gonna be able to get a lot of value and a lot of gain from some of the stuff that you said here today, man. And it's you know, it's always important for us as dudes to just be able to have spaces to be able to share stuff, man. You share stuff in here that I'm sure somebody gonna be like, damn, like I needed to hear that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And they gonna be like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm sure that's gonna, you know, it's gonna plant the seed, and it is gonna pass forward to somebody, man. So I appreciate you doing that, man. And you know, it's always love my way. Listen, I know you creating a bunch of stuff, you doing a bunch of stuff, man. If there's anything you got coming up, man, please share it with the people, let them know. Like I said, I know you got the card games. Tell people where they can get them, and, you know, tell them, you know, I know you have events and stuff like that for the games and stuff too. So tell people where they can, you know, check you out and stuff like that as well.
Sure. Everybody can check me out on Instagram at __Barnhill, BARNHILL. That's my personal Instagram. And being an entrepreneur, I got a couple of things. One, I DJ. Two, I created a card game called Black Movie Scene, which is for sale right now. And you can get it at www.blackmoviescene.com. All right. It's blackmoviescene.com. And the game is basically a game created where you split up on two teams. And it's a game that has 105 cards in it with different lines from classic black movies. Classics, though. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like real classics.
Right.
Classic black films. And, you know, each round, you play 5 rounds. Each round, you have a card reader, and they, you know, read the cards to the team, and they have to read the line, and everybody on the team has to guess what movie that the line is from. So it's a hit for game nights. It's a hit for family functions. You know, anytime you get together with good people, and, you know, a lot of times, man, people like to play games and, you know, so on and so forth. So that's definitely something that that'll be dope. and it'll challenge your black movie wisdom for sure. Because I know there's a lot of black movie warriors out there that swear up and down they know everything, but you will hear it and be like, dang, I know where that movie from. And you know, it's on the tip of your tongue, but you know, it's a dope game, and the concept of that is to, you know, continue and to develop like African American tradition. You know what I'm saying? I feel like black people a lot of times, I feel like other races of people, they real big on tradition a lot of times and developing them and keeping them going. And I think we have ours, cookouts, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, you know what I mean, like different things. But I just wanted to, you know, kind of like put something in the world, man, for the people, man, to have, and just, you know, continue that trend of having, you know what I'm saying, African American tradition, and something that brings the family and friends together, you know what I'm saying, that people can enjoy good, clean fun, although there is some swear words in the game.
That's all right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. But that's, you know, it's all relative. Worse. Yeah, we done heard worse.
Right.
So, you know, it ain't a game, man, that's meant for people, man, that's under the age of 18. I want to say that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't, you know, unless, I mean, this depends on how you parent your kid, man. You know, I mean, to each his own. But, you know, again, like tying that back to, you know, trying to do stuff with purpose. And yard art is the art form that I created, you know what I'm saying? So I'm an abstract artist, and, you know, I paint for my own personal pleasure, but at the same time, you know, to create pieces and, you know, things that have meaning to them, you know what I'm saying, that can add value to the world. And, you know, just kind of use my art as a way to, you know, kind of spread love and messages, you know, for all types of people, all styles of people. So, you know, anybody interested in any artwork, if that's what you into, you can go to yardart.com, and, you know, I have plenty of pieces that you can browse from, you know what I'm saying? And if that's what you into, if art is your thing. And, you know, next, I'm going to be, you know, trying to figure out a way to incorporate the art scene into, you know, Northeast Ohio, you know what I'm saying? Because it's real present and prevalent in other places, you know what I'm saying, where they use art as a way to, you know, kind of bring people together and tie it into like nightlife, and people have a good time, and it's good, clean fun, you know what I'm saying? Kind of go away from, or give you some, you know, some variety in terms of like nightlife, and move away from the club and the bar scene, you know.
Well, dope.
Thank you for having me, man.
No problem, man. I appreciate you, man. This has been wonderful, man. Thank y'all again. Y'all make sure y'all check that out. You said it's yardart.com.
Yardart.com.
And what's the movie?
Blackmoviescene.com.
Blackmoviescene.com, man. Y'all make sure y'all checking them out, man. Go support my guy, man. Again, man, this has been another dope episode, man. Y'all know, make sure y'all go to YouTube, Live Your Purpose Media. Make sure y'all subscribe, like the channel. You can find this audio anywhere your podcast is available, Spotify, Apple. Make sure y'all support. Leave us a review, leave us a rating, and all of that. Again, man, another episode. LYP. Love y'all. Peace.